Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty video. Now, like I said, I'm doing a series where I basically go back and reflect on older Call of Duty games in 2018, and tonight's episode is actually going to be Call of Duty 4, and no, not Modern Warfare Remastered. I'm talking about the traditional OG Call of Duty 4. Now, this game really took Call of Duty to the next level, and Infinity Ward was a really top designer back then. They were destroying it. With this game, it took it to the next level with kill streaks, with a bunch of different stuff like that. And you got to remember, this game was released in 2007, so almost 11 years ago, pretty much 11 years ago, and it still is a pretty decent game. Of course, it has major flaws compared to games today, but for 11 years ago, for a 2007 release, this game was dope. We're going to talk about it in today's video. If you guys could smack a like on this thing, let's hit 1,000 likes. You guys hit it on the last video, the Infinite Warfare one. I was so thankful for that. You guys, the support has been amazing. Like I said, I'm trying to upload, consistently up here until Black Ops 4, and then once Black Ops 4 comes out, of course, we're uploading BO4, right? So drop a like. I'd appreciate that if we could hit that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and let's talk about it. So, Call of Duty 4. This one is a little bit different to compare than other Call of Duties because, when I'm comparing the newer CODs, I usually talked about three things, right? Maps, kill streaks, and the guns. So we can talk about maps and guns, but as far as the kill streaks in this game, for you guys, because I know, I'm talking to a whole audience here of people that might have played Call of Duty 4 in its prime, or other people who might be seeing the game for the first time, or maybe have only seen gameplay, never actually touched the sticks on this game. Most people probably played Modern Warfare Remastered, because that is a more new game. That was, I think, released, when, 2016? Yeah, so that's more of a newer game, right? But this is the original Call of Duty 4, and me personally, being someone that played both of them, I honestly liked the original better. I felt, and it's weird to say, but I felt like it ran smoother, and there was just, less BS. When they updated the game, I was excited, but on the remastered version, they didn't end up fixing any of the issues with the triple frag, with the M16, stuff like that. So there wasn't really any reason, all they did was upgrade the graphics and then sell their DLC and supply drops. Now, of course, I'm guessing if you guys were wanting to play this game today, if you see this video and you're inspired to play COD 4, you probably would want to play the remastered version in 2018, and that's simply because the servers, it'll just be too hard to find people. And I've hopped on COD 4 recently over the last couple of years. You guys can see the gameplay here. I'm talking about my opinion in 2018 on this game, and there's a lot of hackers, so the actual game is kind of ruined. It's like, I got absolutely wrecked there, but I'm still able to win the free-for-all. So there is I like to play free-for-all in this game, and free-for-all only went to 25 kills, but because there was a lot of BS. But let's talk about the stuff, what was good, what was bad about this game. And we got to remember, when I'm talking about this is based off of 2007. Based off 2007, this is like the greatest game ever. Based off 2018, it's a very flawed COD game, right? So let's keep that in mind and let's talk about it. First of all, maps. Now, I have a list of the maps up here beside me, which is a good thing I'm going to do when I start doing this vid. This game had, honestly, a lot of bad maps. It had some absolute classic maps, but it had quite a few bad maps as well. Maps that I did enjoy were Bog, if you guys remember that one. That one was absolutely awesome. Crash was a cool map as well. Crossfire, Downpour, Shipment, Showdown, Strike, Vacant, Wet Work even was okay. It had some good maps, but it also had its maps that really weren't the best. Actually, Pipeline was a good map as well. Overgrown as well, too. So it did have actually pretty good maps, but it had some maps that just weren't as good. Countdown, I wasn't a big fan of Countdown. District, I didn't really like as well. I thought Block was really bad. Block, if you remember the 2 apartment buildings, I thought that was one of the worst maps out there. Ambush and Backlot are decent. So there's a lot of decent maps, probably only 1 or 2 really bad ones, and probably only a couple of really, really good ones. But for the time, the maps were really, really good. I'd probably say an 8 out of 10 for the maps in this game, because they were good, and at the time, there was only 1 DLC pack. Now, I didn't play this game in its prime. I picked it up in, I think, 2009. So if it released late 2007, I picked it up in 2009. So I started playing this game in like the prime of World at War. But the thing is, with World at War, a lot of people went back to Call of Duty 4. It was sort of how people went back to Black Ops 3 nowadays, back to the Treyarch game. Back in the day, they would go back to the Infinity Ward game, and a lot of people did not like World at War and went back to COD 4 until Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then Modern Warfare 2 innovated as well. So with kill streaks in this game, there's not much you can say. Honestly, they added kill streaks, and they were pretty decent. I mean, a UAV, an airstrike, and a helicopter sounds pretty fair and even to me, and we'll say good on that. Maps definitely were good, and they had 1 DLC pack, which honestly had a really good DLC maps, but it was only 1 pack. It had Broadcast, Chinatown, Kill House, and Creek, which is pretty much 4 for 4. So the DLC pack, that might be one of the best DLC packs. I think that one, and then one of the map packs, I think from MW2, I forget the name. I think it might be Resurgence map pack, or whatever the one with salvage in. Those are like some of the best map packs of all time in Call of Duty. So we'll talk about that. That's pretty good, right? We'll talk about the guns now. Guns in this game were very not balanced. But that's what you're gonna get when you're talking about an older game. In this game, it was basically M16 or MP5 with a red dot, and that was about it. You didn't have many abilities to customize your class it up. You could run one attachment. That was about it. Very, very simple stuff. But those two weapons, if you guys thought in Black Ops 3 the M8 and the VMP or the XMC, whatever, if you guys thought those were overpowered, these took it to another level. Competitive Call of Duty in this game was just those guns over and over and over. And so for guns, I would say the guns in this game, there was a lot of cool ones, but the gun balance was absolutely horrible. But like I said, we're reflecting on an older Call of Duty game, and this game did expand. It did great things for the franchise. So you can't really hate on it. It definitely is a fun game to play as well. SMGs, I actually thought the SMGs were kind of cool. I liked the AK-74U. I liked a couple of the SMGs in this game. I liked running the MP5 with the silencer sometimes to mix it up, and I did think that, this game was designed around competitive. They wanted to make it even with competitive, so they just said, those are the weapons for competitive. Public matches, you guys do whatever you want to do with that. Now, talking about Modern Warfare Remastered, that came out in 2016. This was the only Call of Duty to be remastered as of right now. A lot of people are, hoping for a Modern Warfare 2 remastered or something like that, and when it came out remastered, a lot of people were saying like, oh my god, I'm going to be playing this all year, stuff like that. And my opinion on it was always like, this is going to be a fun game, but I think people are still going to be focused on other things. This would be a fun game for competitive and for people to throw back on, but I don't think people are going to be sticking with this game for a long time. And that's sort of what happened. When it came out, it was huge. Infinite Warfare was getting hate on quite a bit. Modern Warfare Remastered was like the cool kids game to play. And definitely for competitive, it did its thing, because competitive on this game is really, really good. And that's something I've been mentioning on the previous CODs. So I'll mention that, like I said, M16 and MP5 being overpowered, that sucks for a casual player, but for competitive, it makes it very, very balanced and makes it very, very cool like that, right? So that's basically what they had there. Competitive was huge in this game for COD 4, and it was huge in Modern Warfare Remastered as well. Well, it was a little bit different because the Pro Circuit was playing on IW, but it was huge on online tournaments, on Twitch and stuff when it first came out. But it did sort of fall off quickly with Modern Warfare Remastered, and that's because this game, while it is super duper fun, and this is a game you can play for hours on end, it's not something that you can play for hours on end day in and day out, at least not in 2018 in my opinion, just because of how basic it is compared to other Call of Duty games. Of course, because of the time that it came out. Now, after this game was released, of course, this inspired the Modern Warfare series. Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then they took it to the next level. If COD 4 introduced kill streaks, Modern Warfare 2 introduced customized kill streaks. It also introduced some trash stuff too, with the death streaks and things like that, right? But so I've talked about the good about COD 4. Let's talk a bit about what was bad about this game. Oh, sniping, by the way, was really good in this game. The ACOG was absolutely overpowered. What was bad about this game? 3 times frag was an absolute joke. Literally having a perk that can make you have 3 times frag grenades, and frag grenades were already super strong in this game, made it honestly ridiculous. And that was something that Infinity Ward sort of had a problem with, was their explosives. I mean, if you look at Call of Duty 4, I'd say 3 times frag as I'm using it in this gameplay, because it's just free kills. Everyone else is using it, you sort of have to use it. It's kind of like the double barrel, how it was in Fortnite, when everyone else was using that overpower thing, or the drum gun, you got to use it too to keep up, but that definitely was overpowered. And then they never patched their game. And then they just released MW2, which had noob tubes, danger close, one-man army. So it didn't really seem like Infinity Ward was learning their lessons. And I honestly think that's why Treyarch overtook Infinity Ward, because Treyarch updates their games consistently, and they've been doing it for years now. Infinity Ward was always one that, if there was that big of a problem with triple frag was being hated, Treyarch would have updated that in a week. Looking back at a remastered game 11 years later, they haven't changed a thing. And that's one thing with Infinity Ward that I think actually holds them back, especially nowadays with, games like Fortnite that have been out for a year and been updated like 80 times, or a game like CSGO, like League of Legends. Any games are updating and changing metas nowadays, and that's how it works. And Infinity Ward kind of refuses to do that. They did a little bit with Infinite Warfare, because I think they were adapting to the climate, but not if COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 had been updated with patches constantly, these would have been the best COD games ever. unfortunately, for whatever reason, I don't know if Infinity Ward was arrogant about that this is the best game, Triple Frag is there for a reason. I'm not really sure the reasoning. We never really got an answer on that, but that was definitely, there's a couple of flaws that held this thing back, triple frags, different things like that. But the core gameplay of this was really, really fun game to play, and even nowadays, it's a fun game to hop back on and play, but it will seem very, very basic, and there will be a lot of BS compared to, your newer Call of Duty games. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this. I loved Call of Duty 4. It was honestly my first COD that I owned, and great game. Great game for the time, and still a great throwback classic. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know which COD you want me to talk about next in the comments, and that's out. That's it. I'm out. Peace.